Hey everyone, we're doing another episode of our ACOTAR deep dive. Now, if you have not read ACOTAR, again, I caution you, we will be talking spoilers. But if you don't care, listen along with us. Hey book babes, welcome back to Two Girls, One TBR. Your chaotic book besties here to wreck your reading list, one morally gray man at a time. I'm Rebecca, still living for the villains, monsters, and magical artifacts that make our dark fantasies delicious. Catch me over at Azrella Reads on Instagram for your morally gray hero fix.
And I'm Chelsea. If I'm not narrating, I'm devouring every twisted plot I can find. My TBR is a beautiful mess over at Chelsea in Chapters. Tonight, we're diving deep into the darkest corners of Prythian, the ACOTAR villains, with the villains of Prythian.
Yes, since this is October, it feels appropriate to talk about the villains, don't you think?
Yes,
Now,
for Halloween.
Oh, yes, because this is my favorite time of the year. I love
Mine
the
too.
spooky season. Now,
I have to show you since we're talking about it.
Let me
Look
see.
Look at my Booksta sweatshirt. Wait for it.
Oh, it is so cute. I love it.
Isn't that cute?
I love all the little ghosts. There's a thing I follow on my Bookstagram. It's a girl that makes little tiny miniatures, and it's like little houses with little ghosts and stuff, and I want one.
Yeah, so cute.
I love that kind of thing. But that's really cute.
I've been loving all the ghost ones too, where they have the ghosts and they're holding different fantasy books. Oh, it's adorable.
I love that. Again, favorite time of the year, little ghosts. Now, we're going to talk about before we get going into our actual episode, we like to kind of talk about things that we either did not remember the last time when we recorded, or it was something we got wrong. Now, the one thing is Lucien, God bless him. Lucien's eye, we couldn't remember how and what happened with his eye, but it was mentioned that he has a metal eye, was crafted in the Dawn Court by Tamlin's friend, and that is in A Court of Wings and Ruin. But I didn't remember that. But I knew he had his eye done, but I couldn't remember from where.
Yeah. And I can't remember too specifically if Lucien said I had a friend and Tamlin got it fixed, but that's basically what happened. Like Tamlin at least paid for it, if nothing else, depending on whose friend it really was.
Well, he should pay for it, just like you said. Yes. He's kind of the cause that poor Lucien lost his eye. And then we have a thought here. You're going to tell us about our Maeve.
Yes.
Is it Maeve?
Maeve. I don't remember this, so I'm excited for one day to do a Throne of Glass reread, but it's said that she had violet eyes, which are sometimes described as violet, starry eyes, violet blue, much like our beloved Rhys, and it appears in the novel Heir of Fire, which is number 3. And it's found in a key scene early in the book when Aelin first meets Maeve at her fortress. And it's the part of the story where Selena is first introduced to Rowan and begins her training with him. Based on plot recaps, the meeting and description would be around chapter 7 of Heir of Fire.
So if you go back because you have those books, if you go back, because I haven't read them yet, maybe you can actually
if the receipts,
see that moment.
Yeah, if the receipts don't match up, then I'll let you know. But it sounds familiar.
Because I have seen other people say, have those theories that they are related, that her and Rhys could be. It's possible.
Yeah. And I also feel like Dorian could also be like a distant relative because he has very beautiful, stunning blue eyes too and dark hair. So I feel like it's either him or I guess Maeve works too, but she was I forget what the name is for the bad guys in Throne of Glass.
Was she an Asteri? Because I don't know.
Asteri is Crescent City.
Well, that's Crescent City. Is
Volg,
she
the Volg? Yeah.
Well, he could. Well, I mean, from the description of what you've said, I mean, Rhys could fit in that category.
Well, yeah, because we do have those little hints into like Princes of Hell, or are they Vogue? Are they the dark?
So I mean, it could tie in. I mean, it is possible.
Yeah, or they could be descendants of, if they had children, they're descendants of those more evil.
Well, what is it that Sarah said that Crescent City and ACOTAR we know are in the same timeline? Are we 100% that Throne of Glass is happening at the same time as those two?
Yes, because Aelin falls through the sky during Starfall. And Rhys slows down her. It's in, and she sees Feyre and Rhys on a mountain, and Feyre's pregnant.
Okay, so it is all happening at the same time, unless she was falling through time.
She could have been. It could have been like a time continuum, which means then if she passes through that portal again, then perhaps she could meet up with them still. I mean, they are immortal, so.
It's very, I find all of Sarah's universes very interesting. Again, I've only read ACOTAR, but I have Crescent City sit there. That's my next. Once I get done with Eldridge, I'm going to start Crescent City. But now another thing that we found out is that there's the identity of the fourth item in the Dread Trove. It's not explicitly revealed in ACOTAR, but however, a key theory strongly suggests by the crossover with the Crescent City series is that the fourth item is the horn. Again, I haven't read the series, but you would know what that means.
Yeah.
Which is made of ivory, some type of bone. And that is what could open rifts between worlds. I wonder if that's what opened the rift and left Amarantha in.
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
Because they said it was a rip.
Yeah. And I'm trying to.
It's
been a little while since I've read. It's been a while since I read Crescent City, but yes, yeah, that horn is a big deal because it causes a lot. That's like basically the whole premise of that series is finding the horn.
Okay, see, that's
it was like it belonged to like one of their gods.
Well, see, now see, we know there is a fourth one because when Nesta was in the prison getting the harp. That's when, remember, she meets that weird guy, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. Was it Lanthes? Something like that. Yeah. But he was creepy, remember, and he wanted to take Nesta and make her his queen, and they could rule all of Prythian.
Yeah.
But she could see, she knew the other ones, and she could see that fourth item, but it was just out of her reach that she couldn't tell what it was. So I wonder if that truly was the horn is what she was seeing. Or could it have been something else?
I think in Crescent City, because Bryce asks to borrow some of the trove, some of the items from the trove.
So she knows the other pieces exist?
Yes. Yeah, because the harp plays a big role. Yeah, a lot of it plays a role. So again, it's been a while since I've read that. So I would love for anybody that's read it recently to talk all about it in our comments so that we can have a little refresher on it.
Well, it says like during his vision with Nesta, because remember it's cryptic and it's layered, the symbolic meaning, but he shows her the 3 known trove items, which was the mask, the harp, and the crown. And the fourth shadowed object was made of bone, which that one said it was made of bone. But now there's also, in our next episode, I have this just as a little note, just as a tidbit, that there could be possibly a 5th trove item.
Yeah. And so Lanthus, I don't think we figured out how to say his name yet, but he was dangerous, immortal, being imprisoned, freed when Nesta touched the harp to escape the prison's wards, and he immediately threatened Nesta and Cassian, like you said, planning to make him his queen, could take the form of swirling mist, and he was the father of the bog, and then Nesta was ultimately able to bind him into a physical form, kill him with her magic sword, Ataraxia, which he feared, and showed Nesta a vision of ruling the world with the Dread Trove. Also with him, isn't he the one who called her the witch, like queen or something? Remember we talked about that in another episode? Or was it the bone carver that called her that? I think it was Lanthes.
No, they called her a witch. That was the Illyrian soldiers called her a witch.
That too, but somebody called her there was another one. I remember talking about that in another episode earlier.
We'll have to
that he had made that comment. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, because he obviously was very ancient in there. And then he could, I don't know. I think it's could be that right there, that moment. Could that be the foreshadowing moment? Because they said supposedly that Sarah said that somebody is going to betray them. Is Nesta going to lose her mind, take all the trove, and try to take over Prythian?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. It was in A Court of Silver Flames. Lanthes calls her the Witch of Oorid, Oorid. We did talk about that, but I don't remember even what Oorid is. What does that mean to us? So that might be a breadcrumb.
It might be a breadcrumb. It's kind of like Rose Hall last time.
Yes, just like Rose Hall. We really don't know what this Oorid thing is.
I'll have to look and see if I can find anything. If there's anything in any of the other series mentions that name, maybe.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a good one.
That is a very good one. Now, also, the other thing that we did get wrong, or I got wrong, that I had on it, an heiress abandoned war when he wouldn't help her when her dad threw her over into Autumn Court with that notes nailed to her. It was Azriel that came and got her. It wasn't Rhys. So that is a correction. And that is in A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. They talk about it. Its event is very detailed in flashbacks in those. but it was Asriel.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sweet man with his big
Sweet man.
wingspan.
Our spy master with the big wingspan. And then in the Crescent City series, the parasitic Asteri do not drink or eat in a traditional sense. Instead, they consume the life force and magic of the Vanir, which are the magical beings of Midgard. I remember also that they had like their parasitic ways were like had been in like their water source. So not only did they like give up part of their magic when they did the drop, there's something called the drop, which you'll find in Crescent City, and that gives the Asteri some of their magic. And then also their water source basically was like poisoning them. So every time they drink water, like that power source was going to them and feeding them.
Interesting. But see, well, the reason we didn't know about that is the one note said that because Amaranth drinks blood, and we were thinking maybe they drink blood, but no. So she's something different than them, because if they
I feel like
didn't,
she's got to be something better than them, because I hated the Asteri. I hated the Volg. I hated the Asteri, and there's no way Amaranth can be lumped in with them.
So she's some other type of something beyond them.
Yeah.
But that's
and
an interesting one.
maybe they imprisoned her because she fought against them.
Oh, that's very possible. There's a reason why, because she said she fell through the rift. So I don't think the rift just opened and she was the only thing that fell through. You know what I mean? Because she might have been pushed through the rift on purpose to get rid of her. And she can't remember. Yes. I don't think she has memory of why it happened or anything like that. Or she just is concealing that information. And they also, the other thing I looked up to see what they think, how long she was in the prison. And it's implied that she was in there for a millennia, so 1,000 years. That is a long time.
That's a long ass time.
So that kind of plays into the fact that maybe she is in that number of around 15,000 years old.
Cray.
She's quite old. So, all right. So now, book babes, grab your cauldron. We're about to dissect the villains of Prythian, from Amarantha to the King of Hybern, because they're all assholes. They're all assholes.
Yeah, they are.
And they're villains. But now the first one we're going to talk about is Amarantha. I hate that woman so much. She was the Dark Queen under the mountain, if you forgot who she is. Now, we do know she was High Fae. They called her the never-ending flower, the deceiver,
never fading,
the Queen of Prythian, because remember, she gave herself that title. She's just such a lovely person. And then, of course, she was the main antagonist in the actual A Court of Thorns and Roses, that actual book. Now, her status, she is unalived by Tamlin after Feyre breaks the curse after ruling under the mountain for nearly 50 years, which in their lifespans and how they are, that was just a little tiny blib. We think 50 years, we think of it as a long time, but I guess probably for them, it probably didn't feel as long, but it probably did, because she was awful. But her reign left emotional scars across Prythian, and her influence may never be gone. Yeah. So now our origins of her, where she came from, because I called her, I think, a commander or whatever, but she was the former general.
I think that was right. Commander
is the right word. Okay. So, but she was of the King of Hybern's army during the war against the mortals. That was 500 plus years before this book, before this happened, before Court of Thorns and Roses. So she's quite old if she was that there. So they're placing her between 500 and 600 years old. So she would have been amongst some of the older High Fae. But now remember, the reason why she was able to go under the mountain is because she stole the Book of Breathings. Was it that book? Oh, it was a different book.
It was just his spell book.
Oh, okay. Just his spell book she stole. And then that's how that's how she cursed Tamlin and the Spring Court, because, Tamlin didn't want her. She enslaved the 7, well, it wouldn't be all 7 of the High Lords, because he would have been the 7th, so it would have been 6 of them.
Right.
And then she also did the mask enchantment to all the poor people of the Spring Court. And then after her death, the Adder, do you remember that horrible, whatever that thing was? He took off with the book, and he took that spell book back to the King of Hybern.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And as I was re-listening, I remembered the part where the twins, the prince and princess of Hybern, his niece and nephew, they said that, because I think Feyre kind of was like giving them a hard time about, why did Hybern allow her to do that? And she took his spell book, and it was like, well, she was just kind of like, Hybern was fine with letting her test it out and see how easy it would be to take over their territory. And then I also, from
That's interesting.
ACOTAR, mentioned that, now here's one that I just remembered. Feyre said that her coat of arms was of a sleeping dragon. And we don't have any other mention of dragons in ACOTAR. So I wonder
No.
if that's significant in any way.
That does sound interesting. Unless it's something that's happening over on the main island,
Hybern
or
side.
the continent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the continent. So I wonder. That's interesting. I did not remember that. That might be a breadcrumb too to something. Now there are some crazy theories with her. Now they believe that she might be. Is it Dragon? Is that how you pronounce that?
When I was reading Throne of Glass, I said it as Stygian, but that's probably not right in any way.
Stygian. I like that better.
I just sounded out. Who knows?
But we're going to go with Chelsea's pronunciation. A Stygian spider form. Their theory is that she may have been that in disguise, explaining her monstrous nature, her web-like manipulation, and her obsession for control. Do you think it's possible that she could have been that? And then I guess they can transform into a human?
Yeah. Well, so those spiders in Throne of Glass, I think that, well, they are like a form of Volg. So they are dark
Okay.
creatures and evil and awful. So I could see that, or I could just see her being
just a rotten person.
See like all of the evil things in the Massoverse having some kind of connection eventually.
So I mean, so it could be possible that is what she could have been.
I'd like to know. I feel like every time we see these, I would love to know the person that originally thought this up. I'd love to know where they came up with it.
I know, I agree. Every time I deep dive and I look into these things and stuff, I agree 100%. Like, where did they always come up? Some of them, but I mean, because there's some of them are like, woo, they're way out here. Now, this one here, I do believe, though, this theory, I think it is possible that she may have been Tamlin's mate. That's the next theory. The theory is that Amarantha was Tamlin's true mate, but he rejected the bond, which would make sense, and it triggered her wrath. Tamlin didn't just lose Feyre, he lost Amarantha too, and that is what has now got his grief, and that's why he's spiraling, because he technically lost his...
So even though he didn't want Amarantha, he's had this grief inside, like that he'll never have a mate because he already rejected the one he would get?
Because I haven't seen anything that shows that you get multiple mates in your existence of your life. It doesn't appear to be. It seems like you find your one mate. Because remember, Rhysand was waiting all his life, 500 years, for Feyre to show up.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, I mean, I would think there would be some type of grief, even though he said, no, I reject the bond. But I'm sure that would affect him in some way. And then he loses Feyre because he thinks that's his love, which I'm not sure why he thought that was love. But so maybe that explains why he is spiraling and he's trapped in his beast mode now.
Yeah.
It's
multi-layered.
multi-layered.
What else I question is it seems like, as far as mating bonds so far, what we know of it, except for in Throne of Glass, but throughout ACOTAR, it seems like when it comes to the mating bond, only the male really gets like the tug or the pull.
That's interesting.
Feyre, because Feyre like knew she was attracted to Rhys, but she didn't get smacked in the face with it like Rhys did. So,
I wonder if it's... Oh no, because she was turned into High Fae. But I was thinking maybe it's because he's Fae. Maybe humans don't feel it. But I don't...
It didn't smack him in the face until after she was made into Fae.
That's interesting. I know, that is true. That is true. I hadn't really thought about that.
And then like with Lucien, when he says, you're my mate, and Elaine is just kind of like staring at him. It doesn't seem like she really is like, bam, I want to be your mate. But all these males are like ready to jump on the females.
They're the ones that are feeling it first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what it seems like. So had Amarantha been Tamlin's mate, did Tamlin feel that and he knew how nasty she was, and so he rejected that bond within himself without Amarantha knowing?
That's possible. I mean, there has to be something, because we really truly don't know. We know that she came over, and I'm assuming she decided to do Under the Mountain and stealing everybody. Is it because that Tamlin had rejected their bond at that point, and so that was therefore her wrath, and that's why she went after him so
It makes
hard?
you wonder, though, like, did she know that they were mates, or do you think she just had a very strong attraction to him, kind of like Feyre, where it was like deep down, it was like her body was telling her she wanted Rhys, but she
Yeah.
didn't really know it magically quite yet.
I think Amarantha knew. I think that's why she pursued Tamlin from when he
Yeah.
was such a young boy. I think she knew that he was her mate. And I
Yeah.
think she pursued it. And then as he got older, I think he had the ick with her, obviously.
Yeah.
There had to be some reason. Well, her personality.
And we are also basing this off of, like you said, Feyre had just come out of being human. So she wouldn't really be familiar with the Fey magic and how those things feel. So I guess that's true too. Maybe because Amarantha was already Fey.
Yeah.
It's
And
very
she was
well
high
that she
Fey,
would have
too.
known. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, and then maybe that's why she had such an obsession with Tamlin from the time he was young. Maybe she always felt that, and she knew that he was the one that she was supposed to be with. I mean, their personalities some kind of line up kind of in a way, because they both have that possessive type trait personality. She was very possessive of wanting to have Tamlin. Tamlin was very possessive and wanted to have Feyre just to him. So maybe there's something, because I don't think always I don't know what triggers their bond, because we're saying the cauldron caused the other ones, but I guess it's just in their magic creates the bonds. So I think the bond picked correctly, but she was just a rotten asshole and nobody liked her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But now this one might get you. There is a theory, because now remember, Rhysand was under the mountain for 50 years with Amarantha. Is it possible that Rhysand had a son with Amarantha? Amarantha, this is the theory. They say that she bore a child with Rhysand during her reign, and that the child is who the bone carver appeared to as to Feyre, not Nyx, because the child that appeared
No
before her
wings.
had purple eyes. Like Rhysand, Nyx does not have it. He has blue eyes.
Well, when they describe Rhys's eyes, though, it's that they're so blue that they look violet. So I think that we sometimes, like with all the fan art and everything, we just immediately go to
just purple.
They're purple, but it was that they were like
wings.
So blue. But he didn't have wings. And that's where I like this one, because that's crazy to think that Rhys has got a child out there.
Because that's 50 years. That child could be grown too. By that point,
we would have known. We would have known that Amarantha was pregnant, and then Rhys kept it from Feyre.
He does keep things from her. We discussed this the last episode. Yes. So I mean, is it possible?
Maybe possible.
Wait, maybe he's down in the Court of Nightmares. Maybe he is down there because
in the Hewn City.
In Hewn City.
Oh my gosh, that one's crazy. It's drama.
A crazy one.
I like it. It's toxic, and I love it.
I mean, it's possible, because we know that he was Amarantha's whore, as they refer to it. So he was getting action there with Amarantha. I understand it takes them a very long time to even the possibility of conceiving a child. But why did the bone carver appear that way to Feyre? Because if he knew and he foresaw Nyx coming, Nyx would have had wings,
because the bone carver
this
knows
one did not.
Also, the other high lords that were under the mountain could easily be keeping that information from Feyre, as like, I'm going to keep this information for a rainy day when I want to take down the Night Court and cause drama.
And Tamlin wouldn't know, because he wasn't under the mountain, and he wouldn't have known any of that happened. That is a possibility.
And none of the inner circle would know.
Nope.
Damn. And Rhys could have altered all their minds.
Oh, yeah.
Also, so that they don't even have memory of it.
That is very possible.
Okay, we're going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to think of more things as I'm reading now to support it.
Now they said that could also be the hidden heir with the death god lineage, possibly tied to the cauldron or to Koshi. I don't really understand how that all ties together.
I don't get that.
But it could be a hidden heir. Because what if Nyx is not his heir? What if there's this other? But we're thinking of him as a child. They might, because if they were under the mountain for 50 years,
50 years.
I mean, he would be more of a grown person. He wouldn't
Yeah.
be like a little child. And that's why I think maybe
Yeah.
he's down in the Court of Nightmares. Maybe he's someone down there that Kier deals with. I
And it
don't know.
works that Feyre has such like it works that she's so traumatized from under the mountain that she's not going to spend that much time in the Human City. So it would be easy to keep him from her.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was an interesting one. Now, the next one is, now that the under the mountain, there is a thing that is a theory that it's a gate. Under the mountain is one of
Yes.
the 3 major mountains in Prythian. Under the mountain, which is Amarantha's lair, there's
Yeah.
Ramiel.
Ramiel.
There we
I call it
go.
Ramiel. Yeah.
We're going to go with Ramiel. That's the Night Court's sacred peak. And then there's the prison, the home of the ancient beings like the Bone Carver and the Weaver, and Amren was there. There's that one. The theory is that these mountains are all connected by magical gates and portals, possibly used to banish the Asteri from Crescent City. But they think that all has to do, and Amarantha knew it.
Yeah, and I okay, so I like that too, especially because I literally just got to the part in ACOTAR when, okay, so remember Feyre and Lucien end up killing the prince and princess of Hybern. Then they run off.
Yes.
Through the caves.
Yes.
So the caves are basically like, they call them doors. He goes, you're going to take a door to get there because they don't have their magic. The Faebane has disabled their magic. And so the door, the gate, the caves, yes, there could be so many different portals throughout those caves. In Throne
There's
of
something
Glass,
with it. There's some reason
in Throne
why
of Glass,
she picked it.
Yeah, in Throne of Glass, there's a cave, and that's where they go into a glass like mirror in order to travel, and that's when Aelin falls through. So there's so many things with the caves. I love that.
It's interesting.
That is that's a great tie to all of them.
And there's some reason that she picked under the mountain, because she could have, because if she was the queen of Prythian, she could have picked anywhere she wanted to be, and she picked there.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason.
And it was the middle. I mean, it was the heart of Prythian. That was supposed to be like their sacred area.
But she went, but she could have been out like in Springcourt where it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And stuff.
She could have taken over somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. And she chose to go under there. I'd say there's some reason that was the specific location that she picked. Now, we have talked about this. When Amarantha rolled, she had Jorian in a ring. Remember, it was just his eyeball and his conscience was there. Now, these are...
And his finger?
His finger was her necklace.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, she's really gross. But now, this is some facts about that. Now, Amarantha trapped Jorian's consciousness in the ring after killing him, using dark magic to keep him aware, but powerless for centuries. So she kept him in her ring for a long time. She wore the ring constantly. She flaunted it as a trophy of her victory over him. In a court of thorns and roses, Feyre sees the ring and realizes that he is still alive and watching everything, because remember, his eye would move. But after her death, the ring disappears from the narrative, and it's never mentioned again. Now, this is some theories of what people think happened to the ring. They think it was destroyed with Amarantha. Some fans believe the ring was destroyed when she died, either physically shattered or magically nullified. That theory is, but the cauldron resurrected Jorian, pulled his soul out, and rendered the ring inert or obliterated. I still think Tamlin took the ring. That's still my theory. I think he took it after he killed her. I think he took the ring, and I think that's, remember we said, we think that was what
and
he
used it as a bargaining chip.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it could also be it was taken by Hybern. It wasn't Tamlin. It was the Adder, because he took the spell book. Why wouldn't he take the ring with him? And then Hybern's forces retrieved the ring, after she died. The ring may still exist, possibly holding residual magic or secrets about soul entrapment. That could be especially relevant to Koshi's rumored abilities. So the ring might still exist. It might not be destroyed. Maybe they're waiting to put another soul inside it, or someone else is going to get stuck in that ring.
Yeah.
Then they said, now it also, that plays into it, that it could be still active, and it might already be holding somebody else's soul. The wild theory is the ring wasn't destroyed. It may be now to be used to be trapping another being, possibly by Koshi or one of the surviving queens. Because we don't really know what all of the ones that are still surviving, we didn't get a whole lot of tidbits of what they were doing. We knew what the other ones were doing, the one that got killed and all that. What are they doing? So let's see here. And then the other thing, it's a how do you pronounce that? It was
that's a Harry Potter reference, a Horcrux.
Okay, it's like anchor. This is some fans believe the ring acted as a magical anchor, keeping Jurian's soul tethered to the mortal realm. Theory is, if the ring still exists, it could still be used to resurrect or manipulate other souls, especially in future books involving death gods. Because remember, they say that, the bone carver, the weaver, all of them are dead. I still don't believe they're truly dead. I think, like what you said, they dematerialized. I think they can come back because they're a death god.
Yeah.
Or the cauldron.
Yeah.
I find that all interesting.
For context on the Horcrux, Voldemort uses that to basically, he can like split his soul. So he can put it into these objects. And that way, if he gets defeated, he can be brought back by these objects that he has put part of his soul in. So I think that's a really cool idea for it to be in other fantasy stories. Yeah, that's a cool reference.
Now we know Tamlin killed Amarantha, but what if her essence is still out there existing and her essence is in the ring? So what if she could come back? We're just assuming she's dead.
Yeah.
But the ring went missing. The adder maybe took it. And what if he took her back and her essence is with wherever the King of Hybern, where over on the continent? Because we really don't know. We know he's dead, the King of Hybern, because, Elaine.
Or is he? Because none of us trust Sarah anymore. It's always like, okay, well, they were able to bring back Feyre. They were able to bring back Rhys. So they were able to bring back Jurian. So how many beings are able to be brought back? Yeah.
Well, that's true. That is a true thought in it.
And so I think that's why we make so many mountains out of molehills, because we can't trust Sarah with everything that she says.
I know, because she has brought people back that should be dead, and they're back. Because I still believe if Jurian went into the cauldron, I still believe when he came out, he doesn't have a belly button.
And
he was cauldron made.
But we can confirm that he has the rounded ears, so he's still technically human?
So technically human, but I don't know.
And why? Why is he human and not Fae? Why did the cauldron work that way?
I'm not sold that he's human 100%. He may have the appearance of human, but I'm not sold that he's just a human, because he was able to do too many things. I think there's more secrecy under the surface with him.
Oh yeah, and he's got a plan, because when they're sitting around the fire, when they're doing these little trips to the wall, and he's kind of looking at Feyre like, I know what you're up to. Like, I know you're trying to leave. Like, he's smart and calculating, and he knows what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I just
got something big up his sleeve.
I just don't think he's just willy-nilly, oh, I'm content being. No. He was created, just like how, Nesta and them were created again there, and I guess they wouldn't be created, but they were converted to high fae, whatever how you want to put it.
They say made.
Something.
They were made.
They were made.
Yeah.
So and he was made too, but he was made from an essence, because it was just his consciousness as the eyeball in the ring. There's something involving the ring. The ring had to be involved.
Yeah. That's very important. I think a lot of us glossed over that, and I think that's something that we all need to pay attention to. Yeah.
I think we are going to see the ring again. I
liked here too. I don't think you had said it yet, but I liked this, the symbolism of it is that it could be a cursed object that passes from tyrant to tyrant, echoing themes of imprisonment and legacy.
Because it might be like the cauldron. It might be like the cauldron, and it can't be destroyed, because you can't destroy the cauldron.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible. It's interesting, isn't it? But now let's talk about, because we're leading towards the King of Hybern, the mastermind of war. What's that?
Real quick. The guy doesn't have a name. He's just the King of Hybern. What is his name?
Oh, because I guess Hybern the location where he's at?
Yeah, Hybern's the location. So what is his name?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but I never thought about that. Yeah, because that's, okay, because we just call him the King of Hybern. It's not that his name is Hybern.
The prince and princess both have first names. They're the prince and princess of Hybern. But
Oh, yeah, and they had actual names.
or is his name Hybern, and the reason why the territory is named Hybern is because of him? So is that his name?
Possible. But I mean, but if you look in history and that, like when there was all the kings, like kings and queens of England, it wasn't,
Yeah. Right.
their name, because England
Yeah.
was England, because like you take
Mhm.
Henry VIII, he was Tudor was his last name. So
Mhm.
the country wasn't called Tudor. So
Right.
that's an interesting thought. I had never thought about that. So maybe
Yeah.
that is the area and we don't truly know his name.
Yeah, what is his name?
Interesting. Well, that's an interesting. Well, we do know that he is high fae.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but now they said
He's
though
not a sorcerer, like
he's
I
not a
thought.
sort. He's not a sorcerer, but he did have a spell book. So I mean,
Yeah.
he would be a sorcerer, though he's just
Yeah.
his origins of that. But they said they
Yeah.
think he could possibly be something older, or maybe the cauldron created Hybern. But yeah, his title is the King of Hybern, and the realm is Hybern, a fae kingdom across the sea from Prythian. So that's not his name. That's hilarious. I never thought about
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. And it's probably significant. She's probably not telling us his name for a reason, because maybe he is interconnected into some of the other series like Crescent City or Throne of Glass.
I have a thought. We don't know Rhysand's last name. Maybe there's something tying Rhys's lineage to the King of Hybern by who he was. Because
Yeah.
those are the two we don't know their last names.
Mhm.
Because she's very on purpose not telling us Rhysand's last name.
Yeah.
Because we
So
knew.
I'm Googling as we're talking.
Or you're good. Because
So
we
this
know,
is going to be a brand new theory that we're just throwing in here.
this is interesting.
Somebody thinks so. There's Dorian Haviliard in Throne of Glass, and
Okay.
he is a descendant of Fae and ends up having Fae powers, but he's believed to be human in the beginning.
Okay.
So they think that there is a relative, Holland Haviliard, who is the King of Hybern.
So they think that who was this man related to Dorian?
Well, that's what I don't know. We're going to have to do a deep dive
We'll
on
have to
that. So
deep
that's going
dive.
to have to be
Okay.
revisited. Yeah, that's going to be revisited, but that's a great theory that if anybody knows about it or can remember,
Yes. Oh yeah. Mark
tell
it down
us.
so we'll research it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
So if that would be the case, then that's where the King of Hybern came. Oh, interesting. But now, as we know, like the King of Hybern, now we do know that he orchestrated the war against the humans. I'm still not sure why he was so angry with the humans that he didn't like them. And the
Because
Fae.
he wants them to be his slaves, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, he's well, that explains like Amarantha's way of her mind thinking
Yeah.
too. And he was seeking to reclaim the lands lost in the treaty. So he's over on the continent. We don't really know how big the continent is, because these are just the little areas of land.
Well, and the continent is different from Hybern, right? The continent is like where the mortal queens are.
Well, they said that he's in Hybern, a fae kingdom across the sea from Prythian. I thought that was it on that continent, but maybe it's its own place.
Yeah, let me find the
I'm
map.
trying to.
You keep talking, and I'll find the map.
Okay. Now, of course, we know Hybern is gone because Feyre and Elaine unalived him in a court of wings and ruin. Now, his death ended the war, but his influence is possible even his essence. What if his essence is in the ring because they killed him? What if he, he's still lingering?
Yeah.
Because there were all kinds of stuff happening at that time. What if they knew if he died and they put his soul in the ring? Because we don't know what his people were doing.
Right.
That's interesting. But now he ruled before the first wars, before humans and Fae. So that gives at least 500 years before ACOTAR. Now he's described as, Amren described him, I know, and they said that he is ancient, cruel, and deeply tied to old magic, especially the cauldron, like older than Amren. They said he could be, 10,000 or, I mean, we're vague. We don't know. Some things have said that Amren's like 15,000 years, but then there's been things that are saying that he's older than Amren, or maybe they're in the similar, but from what I'm gathering, no matter what it is, he's much older than anybody that's alive there, any of the High Lords or any of the people. Let's see here. Now, that's making him one of the oldest beings in the ACOTAR universe.
Yeah.
His kingdom was once part of a vast Fae empire, but now he was reduced and bitter because he only has a little bit of land now. Well, in his mind. But this may be one of the last remnants of the original ruling class, predating the courts and the high lords. So maybe that's why he's his own separate thing over on the continent.
Okay, so I found the map.
Okay.
There's Hybern to the west of Prythian. Then there's Prythian.
Okay.
And then to the east of Prythian is the continent. And it's separated by fairy realms and mortal lands. And that's where like Valhallan is, or Valahan, because that's where they have some, because they had mentioned that Hybern has allies on the continent.
I just thought about
in
it.
the fairy realms.
I just thought about it. I could open the book.
Oh, yeah, you have it right there. There you go.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hybern is his own island, or little place. And then this over here, this land over here is the other part. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so he is okay, so we don't know his name. That's just the land. Okay,
yeah, so he is unnamed for a reason. We know it now.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Look at us doing live action research.
Investigating.
Let's see here. So, but that is interesting though. So maybe since they say he's so ancient in that, so maybe he does predate all the high lords and stuff.
Yeah.
That is something I have to look and see how long have the high lords existed.
Yeah.
You know, how many of them or whatever.
Remember those. So remember when we were talking about what held Rhys when they had hit him with the arrows and the bloodbane, and they had held him in that stone that is mined from Hybern?
Yes.
It's not iron, which we figured out. And that's like one of their biggest advantages is that stone that they mine out of Hybern. So I think that is also going to become something like he chose that island for a reason.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's kind of like in like Kryptonite with Superman. That's the thing that would take him to, and then, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now obviously, I don't know, if that touched the King of Hybern, would it affect him? Or is it because he's such an ancient whatever, maybe it won't, that kind of thing wouldn't affect him.
Or it's because they figured out how to like harness it and make it chains or.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there must be some kind of magic. There must be some kind of magic binding that happens. Like once you have those shackles on, that's when it takes your powers from you.
Interesting. Now remember, he has his spell book, and they said, now remember, Amarantha stole his spell book using it to curse Tamlin, enslave all of them, and that kind of thing. But after Amarantha's death, the Adder fled with it and took the book back to him. Now, did he have the book with him when he was battling them in that final battle in A Court of Wings and Ruin? Where is that book? And can it be used by someone else? Wonder if Jorian has it. Because he was working with the King of Hybern to get his confidence. Yeah. So maybe when the King of Hybern died, Jorian took the book. Yeah. And then that's where we're going to see him. Maybe he's going to be the one that will betray them all. And he'll have the book to take over power. Because remember, he's still angry about all the stuff that happened. He seems too relaxed and too happy with things.
Yeah. And he still has his vendetta about the whole Miriam Draken thing. So
yes,
he's not done.
He's not done. No. And if he has that spell book, that could be something enormous. You know what I'm saying? He could wield a lot of power. Even
Feyre
if he
had
is
kind of Feyre had kind of said to like Jorian when he was asking about Miriam, she's like, I was told she's dead, even though she knows that's not the case.
Yeah.
And Feyre was kind of like admonishing him, like, really, you've gotten a second chance at life and you're still on about Miriam, like, move on. And he kind of looks at Feyre and he's like, isn't that what you're doing to Tamlin? Like taking down his whole court. And it was kind of a good moment where I was like, he's not wrong. We're all being a little vengeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it. I mean, he could have, that is possible. Because remember, he was in Hybern's camp. He was whatever with him. How do we know? Because we know the cauldron was there, all that kind of stuff. So where did that book? Because I just don't think he left it over on his island.
Yeah.
You know?
You would think it would be important enough to probably travel with him.
Yes. And then there was never any mention of it. And it was such a big thing because that's what Amarantha stole from him. He had it back. He used it to get involved with the, he used it with the cauldron, and then there was no mention of it. Where did it go? There's something there. And it was glossed over because, everything was happening. Because you know how the end of Sarah's books are. It's always like, and all that stuff's happening and bombs are going off and all, it's all insane. And so, and then we just didn't notice that little tidbit because it's somewhere. There's something with that. Now this is up. Now these are some theories now. Now they think that there is a connection between Koshi and the King of Hybern. The King of Hybern is Koshi. Now they said he was trapped at the lake, but unless he could put a part of his essence in somebody and then be the King of Hybern, which I don't know. They said it's a fragment of him, possibly split across the realms. So the King of Hybern is Koshi. What do you think of that? Do you think it's possible?
So I kind of like, if we're going off of the whole Horcrux thing, the reason why I like that is because the soul is just like sitting there waiting. It's not acting as its own split self.
Okay.
And so I think that thinking that he's like basically able to inhabit like two beings, I think that's a reach.
Well, they said they're both are ancient, obsessed with control, and they're tied to death magic and the cauldron.
Yeah, I don't think they're all one. I think they're different.
It says Koshi may have used Hybern as a vessel, and his true form is still lurking, waiting to rise.
Okay.
It's possible because there's a lot of weird stuff happening. There's a lot of Koshi, I think, is going to be very fundamental in the next book because there was all little details about him, and I think there's going to be a lot more about him. Now, here's something interesting. Now, I was
going to say, with him being a vessel, like when you're saying that, it's making me think of the Volg from Throne of Glass a lot because they take or if you remember me telling you, because you haven't read, they take over the body, and then the person that's still inside there can either slowly die off or they're not strong enough, and so the Volg basically like you're out, like that soul dies. So I can see if we're going from like the Volg perspective, that could be a thing.
Maybe Koshi is that. Maybe that's what kind of being he is. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting theory. Then there's this one that he is actually a Finian, F-I-O-N-N, Theon, the first High King of Prythian, lost to time and corrupted by the cauldron. Because they said he was really ancient and old. So could he possibly be this first High King of Prythian, and he was banished? Maybe over onto that island. It's a little, well, it looks like an island on the map, but it might be, how maps are.
Yeah.
Is that possible? That would explain his obsession with reclaiming Prythian and his knowledge of ancient magic. So, I mean, that's possible. I mean, that's a possibility.
And there's a reason why we don't have a name for the King of Hybern, so that we can.
See, all this time I've been thinking that was his name. See? Blew my mind there. Now, how about this thing? Now, this might blow your mind too. Now, what if the King of Hybern was created or resurrected by the cauldron, making him a living extension of its will before they destroyed the cauldron? What if he was, because remember, they said he's old, he's ancient. What if he is cauldron born? Because I don't know how long it's been since they destroyed the cauldron. And then they put it in 3 different areas. How long ago? That was that in the first war, or was that even before that first war? See, I don't remember that.
That might have been before that.
So I mean, that could be.
The first war.
That was 500 years before ACOTAR.
Did they use the cauldron to create the wall?
I don't think so.
Because they use it to try to break the wall. So was it built by the cauldron?
With the cauldron, I don't know.
Or was the wall just from like binding magic, where the mortal realms and the fairy realms made a bargain, or
did all the 7
created it?
Or did all 7 of the High Lords all come together to create that wall with the mortal queens of the time? Because we know the mortal queens that are there now are not the same as was there 500 years ago. So maybe there was something, I don't know. But that's an interesting thought. Because what if he is? Because that would it does make sense. It says, with his ability to wield it and resurrect Jurian and manipulate reality suggests a deeper bond than just a mere possession, that he's just in possession of the cauldron.
Yeah,
That's
he
interesting.
definitely knew how to use it. Whereas Feyre, she had the Book of Breathings, she had what Amaranth told her to say, and she couldn't do it. So there is definitely more intense ancient magic than she was able to handle.
Oh yeah, because he was able to wield the cauldron just like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So there's something there.
Yeah, that's important.
Now this is the theory too. Now again, we read the whole thing where Elaine, our sweet little gardener, took out the King of Hybern, but they're saying, what if he truly is not dead? Though Feyre and Elaine unalived him, some fans believe his essence may still linger, especially if the cauldron remained, because it was still active at the time. He could be reborn through Koshi, like we said. His soul may be trapped in a magical artifact like Amarantha's ring, or he might be trapped within his essence might be trapped in the cauldron itself. So I don't know. Could the King of Hybern, again, we don't know his name now, could his essence still exist out there into the universe of that? That's interesting. Now this is also something that's interesting. It says he was a mirror to Tamlin. Both were rulers who lost everything: their land, their power, their love. Hybern's obsession with conquest mirrors Tamlin's spiral, suggesting a dark parallel between them.
Yeah. And Tamlin's father was very close to allies with Hybern. I thought.
Yes, they did. During the war, they were aligned. They were in alliance together.
Because that's why that's why Amarantha was around Tamlin as a younger boy.
Yes, because his dad was in an alliance with them.
So then Tamlin's dad fought on the wrong side, and it was Rhys's dad that fought on the human side?
I believe so. So he was, I guess so.
Because Tamlin didn't fight in the war.
He was
too young. He was around in like the war bands, but he didn't fight in the war. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, he was too young. Yeah.
But Rhys did. Because he was older. He did. Cassie, they all did.
Yes.
But Lucien did not, because Lucien was born after the fact. But Eris would have been around that time. But I don't know if he actually fought in it either. He might not have been old enough. That's interesting. Now, remember we were talking about the King of Hybern's niece and nephew. Now, they have their names. Now, Dagden was the boy, correct? The guy. Yes. And then how do you pronounce her name there? How would you pronounce that? Branna and Dagden.
That's how graphic audio says Branna, so that's what I'm going with.
Branna. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, as you know, they both had their title, just like you were saying, the Prince of Hybern, the Princess of Hybern. And now the one little tidbit we did get is that they were the children of Hybern's sister. She is never named. We don't know anything about her. We think that well, at least we believe they're both high fae, because they have that Daemati. Is that how you pronounce it? Daemati. Okay. And then they could winnow. But
only
the
Dagden can winnow.
But they both could do that.
Yeah, Branna has a moment where I think Feyre asks her, like, can you both winnow? And Branna looks all like taken aback or like kind of pissed that she asked because she can't.
Okay. So, and then of course, Feyre unalived both of them. Now, they were sent to Spring Court with Jorian to assess the wall's weakness. They were described as emotionally bonded twins with a closeness that Feyre found disturbing. Because remember, they were very upset that they had given them 2 separate rooms and they wanted to be together. There's something a little creepy there.
Yeah. They wanted to be in the same room there, and they stayed in the same tent when they went on their trips to the wall.
Yeah. They didn't want to be, they were very interconnected with each other, very entangled, a lot more than normal siblings.
Yeah.
But they attempted to invade mines, poison Tamlin's court, and manipulate the children of the blessed. Remember, those are the people that Ianthe was part of.
And then, of course, awful, because I just got done with that part, and because they were messing with the children of the blessed when they were like standing there at the wall. And then Feyre's like, don't you dare touch them. Feyre goes into their minds, warns them, run away. They do run away. And then as they were sleeping, Prince and Princess, the twins, they ran off
Yep.
and brought them back and mutilated them and did
Yes.
whatever, who knows what. And it's like, ew, they were doing that together. So if they did have
Yeah.
some kind of sick, weird,
They had some very sadistic.
yes.
Yes. And I think they got like they liked doing that kind of stuff. They would get like a thrill kind of thing. They
Yeah.
were weird. They were
Gross.
weird. Now this is theories of what there's that people say about them, that they were actually cauldron created hybrids. The theory is that Dagden and Brana were created and enhanced by the cauldron, not born naturally. Now they said the sister, but maybe there was something, it was like a piece of his sister went in, and so they said they were her children. Their powers and their emotional detachment suggest they may be part of the cauldron, part fae, but possibly even death touched, because they don't act normal. I mean, I understand we're in a fantasy world and whatever, but everybody has a level of normalcy about them. They were very like serial killer kind of vibes. You know what I mean? They gave off a weird vibe. Now, this is something else he said. Now, maybe, possibly, they could be Koshi's prototypes. Some fans believe that they were early experiments by Koshi, testing how far mortal and fae magic could be fused. Their cruelty and mind control abilities mirror Koshi's rumored style: cold, calculated, and inhumane. I mean, that does describe them just exactly like what you were just saying when they went and got those people. That is what they did to them. It was not, it was like it was a sport to them. You know what I mean? Now, the other thing, because again, we said that they have a weird bond. They said maybe they were almost like they were incestuous and soul fused. Their closeness is described as disturbing, leading to theories that they were soul bound, magically fused, or even two halves of one being, and they were meant to be vessels. Theory is that King of Hybern may have planned to use them as vessels for his own soul or for Koshi's essence. Their deaths may have disrupted a larger plan, which could resurface in future books. I mean, it is possible, because there's something off about them. There's something, of course, we are in a fantasy, like I said, in a fantasy world, but there's something very not normal about them. And I think Sarah was very intentional making them that way.
Yeah. You know what else I forgot about is Princess Brana makes a comment to Lucien about having slept with males from the Autumn Court. And I wish I would have put the quote down, but she said during the war, because the Autumn Court were also against the humans, because, Baron is awful. So it makes you wonder which males from the Autumn Court she slept with and what came of that.
That's interesting. Well, obviously it wasn't Lucien.
Right.
It obviously was not it. Well, he was born after the war, but that's interesting. That's right, because I forgot. So Baron from the Autumn Court and Tamla's dad of the Spring Court, they were in an alliance with Hybern. I don't know if any of the other courts were, or if those were the only two.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We'll have to look that up. But now this is something else. They said that Brana and Dagden are introduced in a court of Mist and Fury, and of course a court of Wings and Ruin, as Hybern's niece and nephew, meaning one of their parents is the king's sibling. Okay, at least from what we get. Their titles of Prince and Princess of Hybern suggest their royalty, not just distant relatives. There's no mention is made of their mother or father. They appear to act as direct extensions of the king's will, emotionally bonded, magically enhanced, and fiercely royal. Now, this is theories that they said about who their parents could be. Now, their parent could be dead or sacrificed. Their parent, the king's sibling, which we're believing it's his sister, may have been killed in a magical ritual, possibly to bind the twins to the cauldron or to Koshi. Koshi keeps coming up. Everybody is pushing that Koshi must be pretty dang good that he's accomplishing all these things that people think.
Well, that's the thing. I think because he's still such an unknown factor, people are grasping at straw. Like they're just grasping anything that they can and making up all these theories about him.
Well, we know he was involved with the queen when the crown and stuff, because we know he's doing stuff because he has the Firebird Queen. There's something with him. We just don't.
Yeah, but we've got maybe he's Ness dad, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. There's just so much unknown that
I still lean
is
on
bringing
that
all these
one.
up.
I
Yeah,
still lean
I
on
like
that
that
one
one still.
because Papa Archeron, how did that man have that much leverage to go there and get her? There's more there than we know. Now, the other thing, of course, like we said, they were created, not born. Some fans believe that they were cauldron forged, meaning their parent is symbolic, either the king himself or the cauldron. Their disturbing closeness and enhanced powers suggest they may be, like we said, magically fused, not biologically conceived. Now, their parent is Koshi as a vessel. That's the other weird thing, like we were saying. The wild theory is that their parent may be Koshi's host or someone who is possessed or corrupted by Koshi's magic. Koshi's gross. This would explain their deathless loyalty, their mind control abilities, and their eerie emotional detachment. And then they said that, of course, the other thing is that they could be the last of Hybern's bloodline. The King of Hybern may have no heirs, because he never mentioned having any children, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have any. They just didn't mention any. That Brena and Dagden were meant to inherit his power, either through blood or through magical succession. Their deaths could symbolize the end of Hybern's royal line, leaving the kingdom vulnerable and ripe for Koshi to take over. Because Koshi's up to something. Where is Koshi? Where is the lake that Koshi's in? Is that on the continent or is that over in Hybern?
I think so, because that's where Dad came from. He came from
the continent.
Yeah, he came from the continent with the ships to come help.
Okay, but that's still, if he does get released from the lake, and if there is nobody ruling Hybern, that would seem like a logical place for him to want to set up a shop, if you think about it.
And who's taking over Hybern? We've killed the king. We've killed the prince and princess.
Well, see, now that ties into the next thing I want to talk about is what if his sister is alive? Because Feyre says something that it's his sister's children. There's something with that. In a Court of Wings and Ruins, it's revealed that Brena and Dagden are the children of the king's sister. Now, is that the book that you're on? Are you on Wings and Ruin now?
I'm in ACOTAR. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So watch and see if this is true. If you hear this, making her a princess of Hybern by birth, part of the royal bloodline. The quote from ACOTAR, paraphrase, Feyre refers to them as the King of Hybern's niece and nephew, the children of his sister. Her name is never given. She never appears on page, but her existence confirms that Hybern has at least one sibling. So maybe she's taking over. We're not looking at her as like some sweet innocent person. She might be just as ruthless and horrible as him.
Yeah, I mean, her horrible children came from her. So
yeah,
I imagine she's just as awful.
Oh yeah, because Amarantha was over there, and you see what kind of person she was. We saw what kind of person he was, and we saw the twins. So that leans towards that if she is alive, she isn't exactly nice. So if he's dead, they're dead, she would probably be the person that would be ruling Hybern. So maybe we will see her as a foe that we don't know about yet and hadn't thought about. Now, they said that maybe she was a cauldron princess or a death mage. They said she may have been a high-ranking sorceress over there, deeply tied to the cauldron or Koshi's magic. Her children, unnatural closeness and enhanced powers suggest maybe it was truly a magical experimentation or fusion. Or she's dead. This is the other theory, is that she was sacrificed or soulbound with her children, to create them, possibly to bind to them. Her absence from the narrative may reflect a deliberate thing, symbolizing the cost of power, or she was the vessel of Koshi. So Koshi had her to have these children, because who knows if he's making deals with Hybern. Hybern probably would give up his sister. He's not a very nice person, so would he do that? Yes. And then, or she's still alive and hiding. And some fans believe that she may reappear in future books, possibly as a hidden antagonist, a cauldron cultist, or even as a redeemed figure who regrets her children's fate. So what do you think on that? Do you think we're going to see her?
I like that last one about her regretting her children's fate and being a redeemed figure, because why wasn't there any mention of her involvement with them? Like you had said, they were so loyal to the king and going and doing
Mhm.
his bidding, and it was so easy for him to send them over and not be protected. They were enemies really on another
Oh, yeah.
in the spring court. So, and I also like the thing of them saying that they're maybe like part death god. I don't see that. They didn't seem that powerful. Yes, they had the
No.
Demati, but they didn't seem so powerful that they've got like I don't think the Koshi thing adds up.
No, I agree with you there. I don't think necessarily, but I think there's something with Hybern with his
Yeah.
ancientness. Because then we're looking at them as being so old, whatever, but obviously they're old enough that they were there during the first war, because you made the mention that
Yeah,
she
because she
was,
said she slept with him. Yeah.
from the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
So they weren't young.
It also makes me wonder if they were like very coddled and maybe that's why they're so weird.
I mean, that
Yeah, they
is
were.
possible,
Yeah. Yeah,
because the
they were
King of
involved in
Hybern,
the war, but did they really do any fighting or were they more just
they were
sleeping around
just
with
there
people?
as figureheads.
Yeah.
So they were there and they really didn't go and actually battle or anything. They were just
Yeah.
there in their tent, like, let the peasants,
Maybe
battle for us.
Yeah, maybe Dagden fought, but I don't think Branna really. I think she was more like just a little princess sitting back and doing whatever she wants.
Well, and obviously sleeping with all kinds of men that she wanted besides her brother. Oh, I said it. We think that was happening. Now that's the King of Hybern and his little jaunt that he had with his people. Now the next person that we consider, and she was a horrendous villain, was Briallyn. Is that how you pronounce her name as well? Briallyn?
I can't even say. I would say like Briallyn, Briallyn. I don't know.
We don't pronounce anything correctly, but whatever her name was, Briallyn, she's the fallen queen. If you remember, she was one of the queens of the mortal realms. She formed an alliance there with the King of Hybern during ACOTAR, the book that Chelsea's on at the moment.
Mhm.
She was alive during the Silver Flames, and she worked with Koshi. But see, this is where the Koshi ties in. Like because how did she start working with him unless the King of Hybern was already working with Koshi? Because how did she just all of a sudden? I mean, it was, I guess, over on the continent. Maybe she knew of his
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
We know she was cruel, she was manipulative, she was politically ambitious. She wanted basically to take over. Now, remember, she was human. Now, she did go into the cauldron after Elaine and Nesta went in, and they both came out, and they were both high fae, and they were beautiful. She decided she wanted immortality as well, and she's the one that went in first, and the cauldron cursed her, basically, and made her come out as a withering crone instead of being beautiful and high fae. But when they did turn her into that, did she possibly get magic when that happened? Was she possibly cauldron enhanced? Do you think she was just a crone, or do you think she got some magical abilities as well? What do you think?
I want to think that she's just a crone, like the cauldron didn't like that she thought she could come in and take from it. So that's what I want to believe, but I'm definitely open to the idea of her having some kind of awful power come out of it.
Because she wasn't to me, in my mind, for everything, like how she orchestrated everything, I just can't see her just as truly just a mere mortal, just a
Yeah.
human. It
Right.
had to do something to her
Mhm.
besides taking her beauty from her and making her, a crone. Now, the
Mhm.
fans' theories say, now, she was the first cauldron trial, even though take Elaine and Nesta out of the thing. Briallyn was the first mortal to enter the cauldron, gaining powers that warped her body and mind. Her obsession with resurrection and control suggests that she may be part cauldron touched, just like Jurian, and then they're saying Vasa. Because there's something with Vasa that because she was just mortal. How did she become half of a Firebird queen? Because she wasn't I don't think she was a Firebird the entire time in the mortal lands. I
Yeah.
thought she became, because that was the cursed thing that Koshi did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now the other thing is, now could she be a court spy?
Koshi turned her into a firebird.
So he did that, but how So that has to be with his dark magic that he has.
Yeah, she's the cursed queen of Scythia, which is in the mortal lands. And the other mortal queens, jealous of her power, sold her to Koshi, who cursed her to become a firebird during the day and a human at night.
Okay, so he did that, but that's still dark magic that he does. See, he has a lot of power, even though he's trapped supposedly in this lake.
Yeah.
This is something that involves Mor. Now, we talked about Mor in the last episode. She makes a claim that Mor is a traitor to the Night Court. She says this. This is in A Court of Silver Flames. She makes that comment. Fan theories are that she's manipulating the events from within, or possibly through a spy. Many suspect it was Mor during her secrecy and unexplained absences. So could Mor have been, going and doing stuff with Briallyn? Because where was she during it? Because during A Court of Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames, Mor was very absent during those books. She was not there. After A Court of Wings and Ruins, after all that, she was in that book. But if you look on the other two, she's not, you don't read a whole lot with Mor. So besides, we know she was up at her estate. We know that because she makes that comment about it there in A Court of Frost and Starlight. But she isn't a whole lot in A Court of Silver Flame. And Briallyn makes that comment that she's the traitor to the court. But was she just saying that to be rotten? Or did she know something more? I mean, it's possible. Briallyn may be using Koshi's magic to infiltrate the minds and manipulate emotions. So maybe she's putting, or I don't know. I don't know. But see, in my mind, though, if she's using his magic, that tells me the cauldron gave her something more that she's able to do that. Because I still don't think a mortal would be able to do some of the things that she does.
Well, and remember how they are able to winnow, and that was a gift from the Fae to them as mortal queens, and it makes me wonder what else.
Yes.
What else was gifted to them that wasn't mentioned?
Again, I think there's more to the queens than we know. There's more. She's the vessel for Koshi. That was the other thing. Says some theories believe that she may not just be an ally, but she might be a vessel for Koshi's essence. Her obsession with her immortality and her survival after Hybern's fall suggests she's more than mortal, possibly soul-bound to the death god. Because she may have made deals, because you know how the deals go with the Fae, and if he's a death god, but maybe he's a Fae death god, I don't know. Maybe she did some type of bargain with him. And so if she's bound to him, there's something. Now, remember the queen, is it Demetra? Demetra? That's the Golden Queen. She was killed. Remember, she was killed by the Adder in Ekawar after refusing to join Hybern. Remember, she wore a ruby ring and used the phrases "a better world," a phrase echoed in the Throne of Glass by characters tied to an ancient prophecy. Do you remember any of this from Throne of Glass?
I mean, not off the top of my head. I'd have to look into it. Yeah.
They say that she may be related to someone in Throne of Glass, possibly a descendant of the Volg Queen or a lost royal line. And that could also be a symbolism that it could be a cross-series echoes, but the ruby has a bloodline marker and a cost of resilience. But was there somebody that had a ruby in Throne of Glass?
There was, but it protected them from the Volg.
Okay, so maybe that would be the bloodline marker.
Yeah, I don't see them. No, yeah, I don't see them being related. I don't see her being related to a Volg queen. I would think a lost royal line, like a Fae line.
Okay.
And she was the one, the Golden Queen was the one that left them the book because she read Rhys's letter and was like, yeah, I do believe in the better world.
Well, there has to be something with that Sarah made it, that she specified that she had this ruby ring and she said the better world. There's some tie there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an Easter egg of some kind.
So, and that would be on the good side, though. Definitely not the Volg side. I wouldn't think. Because Maeve does try to get the ring so that Aelin can't use it against her. But her wearing it, I would think that I'm trying to map it out in my head.
Did keep the ring in Throne of Glass?
That's what I'm trying to remember. What happened
maybe
to the ring.
Maybe she's a descendant of Aelin. If Aelin had the ring.
Yeah, she could be. Yeah, she could be.
That's an interesting
Silba's
thought.
ring. That's what it's called. It's referred to as Mala's ring or Silba's ring in Throne of Glass. So we might need to do a little deep dive into that. It's
Isn't
a
that
golden,
interesting?
but it says the ring of Vulg immunity is a simple golden ring. I feel like I remember there being a stone, but maybe not. Oh, I think my dog's here. I think there's a stone in a sword that's red. So see, I'm trying to like piece it all together right now, but we're gonna
We'll
have to
have to
revisit
look it
that.
up.
Yeah,
We'll have to
that's
look
a
it up and
revisit
see
item.
and we'll update everyone what we figure out when we do our
Yeah.
next ACOTAR mini
Yeah.
episode. That's interesting though. I like that there are so many, because remember, Sarah says that she has Easter eggs scattered about. So
Mhm.
maybe that is something. There's a reason why she said it. She just does. Everything she does is for a reason. We've discovered this. Now,
Mhm.
the next person we're going to talk about is Chelsea's favorite. She loves this person so much.
I hate her. I hate Ianthe.
It's Ianthe, the Deceptive Priestess. Now, we know that she's high. She is absolutely the worst human being. Well, she's not a human being, but high fae.
She's the worst high priestess ever.
Yes, but she was the high priestess of the Spring Court. She was an ally of Tamlin, and then, of course, later, betrays him and sides with Hybern. She could do glamour, illusion, ritual-based influence, and they said she could have possibly been how do you pronounce it again? What was it? Damati. But of course, she was killed by the Weaver in one of the best scenes ever in the Court of Wings and Ruin, because she was lured there by Feyre after she did the worst thing that ever could happen when she killed our sweet Surreal. I don't like her. Just for that, she deserved the death from the Weaver. But she was very manipulative, power hungry, obsessed with status and control. But her legacy, or her death, is poetic justice devoured by the death goddess after desecrating what was sacred. But she also orchestrated the Calumet rituals. Did you know that? It says she
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. I know that she did. I mean, she orchestrated the one where Tamlin refused to. So Tamlin refused to perform in the Great Rite when he was trying to get Feyre back from the Night Court, and Lucien had to step in, and she orchestrated being picked and being chosen for that task. So I don't know that she necessarily orchestrated all of them, but that one she certainly did. Yes.
But she definitely manipulated the Spring Court. Definitely.
Yes.
But she did try to seduce Tamlin, possibly using magic to bind him to her emotionally. But she did betray Feyre and Lucien, aligning, of course, with Hybern. She claimed a spiritual authority while abusing her own position for her own personal gain. Again, she killed our sweet Surreal. That bitch. She killed our Surreal. Of course, she was lured to the Weaver's cottage by Feyre, killed off the page. Her death was confirmed because they said she was no longer a problem.
I love that. I love that was her end. Insignificant little wench.
If I remember right, when she went into the Weavers, wasn't it that Feyre heard her screaming or something? For some reason, I'm remembering that. I bet she was like, I would have been happy there. But they think maybe she may have had secret Demati powers, like Rhysand and Feyre, but hides it to maintain her priestess persona. Do you think she had that ability?
I don't think so, because I think Feyre, when she went back, I think Ianthe would have been too ambitious to not try to get into Feyre's mind. Like, there's no way she could control herself.
Yes, she would have been in there if Feyre would have known it.
Right.
But now
the twins did it. So yeah, Ianthe, there's no way she would have let somebody else. There's no way that wouldn't have been known in my eyes.
But she did have the ability to manipulate. It might have been just because she was the asshole as she was, because she was able to manipulate Tamlin, Lucien, and even Feyre at first there. But Feyre was going through a lot, so Feyre wasn't on target. I want to say, she was not in the best headspace, so she could have been easily manipulated because of that.
Correct.
Now, there's also a theory that she was Tamlin's mate. Ianthe used the Calumet rituals to trick Tamlin into a mating bond, possibly binding him to her magically. It says her obsession with Tamlin and her attempt to replace Feyre suggest a ritual-based emotional trap. Because I think she wanted to be Tamlin's betrothed, because
Yeah,
she did the whole wedding and all that, but I think she truly wanted it to be her. You know
yeah,
what
she
I'm
wanted
saying?
to be in his she wanted to be in his pants, and when she couldn't get to Tamlin, she wanted to be in Lucien's pants, but I don't see a mating bond, like, that doesn't hold any water.
Well, that's why they're saying maybe it was like a ritual-based kind of thing. Like she was trying to entrap him. But then again, remember
Yeah.
didn't she want to be in Rhysand's too? Didn't she know
Yes.
Rhysand too? Yes.
Yeah.
She was a
Yeah, and he kicked
giant
her out.
whore. She was a
Yeah.
whore. Okay. We don't like
Yeah.
her, as you can tell. We
Well, that
don't
was
like
the
her.
whole thing. Feyre, okay, and this is the other one that would take out the Daemati claim for Ianthe, because Feyre breaks into Ianthe's mind, has her break her own hand after she's trying to
Oh,
make
that's
advances
right.
on Lucien. Yeah, and
Yes.
then Feyre tells her, you're going to go back. You're going to tell them I killed the prince and princess as self-defense. And so, yeah, so Ianthe didn't have any shield up, and
Okay, so then that rules
yeah.
that one out then. Now,
Mhm. Yeah.
they also said then she could have been a cauldron cultist. Some fans believe that Ianthe was secretly working with Hybern and Koshi long before her betrayal. She used her use of ritual, obsession with power, and survival instinct suggests that she may have been tied to death magic. I mean, I don't think she was on the good side of magic because of how she was. But would you be surprised if she was using death magic? I didn't see her actually use it though. I didn't see anything
Yeah.
that shows that. But when
No, I
she
think, I don't know where that one would come from, or like what would support that. Because more she was just manipulative and trying. It was really that she was trying to get a high lord for herself, is what it seemed like, or trying to
Oh, I
take
think
over
so.
one of the courts. Yeah,
I'm surprised with her secretly working with Hybern and Koshi that she didn't try to seduce one of them,
right.
because that would have made her even more powerful than with a High Lord.
Yeah,
I think you
yeah.
could tell she didn't like Feyre from day one when she picked off that horrible wedding dress for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Petty.
Oh, definitely petty. And I like how she would do it with a smile. Oh,
Yeah.
Feyre, let's pick out all these things for your wedding. And
Yeah.
all this
But
kind of
really,
thing.
she was just making her look like an idiot the whole time.
Yes, absolutely. Because don't you remember when Rhys came and got her and he took her back to the night court? And remember, she was still in that ridiculous dress. Because he makes a comment about it, doesn't he? Something about her dress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Her stupid dress. Yeah.
to me, I imagine it being really fluffy. Do you remember the scene in
Yeah.
Friends when what's her name there, Jennifer Aniston there, her character there, she was going to be in a wedding and she came out in that big pink puffy dress, and Ross is like, just tell her she looks nice. Tell her, she
Yeah.
looks nice. And she did not. And then I remember
Yeah.
Chandler tells her that they didn't have any sheep. They hadn't lost any sheep because she looked like poop. That's one of my favorite episodes. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Rachel, there we go. I was calling her by
Yeah.
her real name, Jennifer Aniston, but Rachel.
Yeah.
I love Friends. But
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because even Tamlin laughed himself hoarse over the dress, but then was like, Feyre, you still have to wear it. Like, the fact that he kept choosing Ianthe's side over and over again was so maddening.
Tamlin should look back at all of his things that he did wrong and realize he pushed Feyre away. Besides, if you take the bond between her and Rhys out of the equation, everything he did, because he says he loved Feyre, he loved her so much, but his actions did not show that he truly loved her. Because if you truly love someone, you don't suffocate them the way he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, unless you're just a toxic person, because some toxic people do that. So, yeah.
That is true. And again, that's where I think it is a very strong possibility that Tamlin and Amarantha were made.
Yeah.
Because I think they were made for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all of it, but I do think every single one of these ones that we talked about absolutely are 100% villains in the world of Prythia, in the Prythian world. So now let me ask everybody this. Now, all my book babes here, which villain fascinates you the most and why? Slide into our DMs or tag us at 2girls1TBR on Instagram and on TikTok, and then we'll discuss it in the next episode, in episode 5.
Yeah. That's episode 4, a deep dive into ACOTAR's villains from Amarantha to Ianthe, including all the fan theories and chaos we could fit in.
Again, remember, tag us at 2girls1TBR, slide into our DMs with your theories on these villains, their motives, their hidden connections, their possible secret. We want to hear all of your takes. We want to hear it all. Just let us know.
Yeah. So subscribe to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and leave a review to keep the chaos coming.
But hey, everyone, keep your books filthy and your TBR unhinged. Good night, Book Babe.
Good night.